Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Film Room Podcast. This is episode 41. I'm your host, Joe Baress, along with my co-host, Joby Fawcett. Joby, you're in transit, but we're hearing you loud and clear. How we doing? Or maybe we're not hearing.
Well, Joe, we're going to do the best we can. Can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely.
Am I on a bit of a delay?
Maybe you are, but that's fine.
How nice.
That's fine. As long as we know you're there.
I am here, Joe, and I am currently with the air conditioning on in my vehicle.
Excellent. Yeah, because it's like 90 out today all of a sudden.
It sure is, Joe. The weather changed very quickly here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Not that I'm complaining, because that would be hypocritical of me, since I have been posting for weeks about how fickle Mother Nature can be during the spring sports season.
Absolutely. It's true. So it's been, we usually try to record this on Monday, but obviously it has been very busy for the athletes and for us as well. But we're able to fit in, and we thank Taylor Cawley for joining us, the Times-Tribune Athlete of the Week from Valley View Softball. Taylor, how's it going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So to go through everything that Taylor's done in now her last two games, she went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs in the district championship victory over Tunkhannock, and she also earned the win, striking out 7, allowing 1 run in 5 innings. Also, since then, in the first round of states, Taylor hit a solo home run and pitched a complete game shutout, allowing 2 hits and striking out 6 in a 1-0 win over Northern Lebanon to advance the PIAA quarterfinals, where the Cougars will face District 11 runner-up North Schuylkill. Whew, Taylor, that's a lot. But so let's go back to the Northern Lebanon game. It was a close game, and you had a big pitching performance, a big hitting performance. What was that game like for you and your team with the nerves, the atmosphere, everything? What was that game like?
Yeah, it was very stressful. But Coach Mia added some really good games to our schedule, like in the early season, like Parkland and Thomas Jefferson. And we played a lot of games like in District 2, like North Pocono and Paw-Pack and Abington. So I feel like that really prepared us to battle with them.
Taylor, so this has been a very rewarding season so far, and of course it's continuing in the state playoffs. But I want to know, this has been a very accomplished group at Valley View. When you and your teammates kind of got together and realized that this could be a really great and memorable run for you all as softball players at the school?
Yeah, I feel like it was early on, like our first loss to North Pocono. Coach Mia basically said we could give up now or we could fight through adversity and keep working hard. And I feel like as a team, we got our energy up and we practiced even harder. And I just feel like we started playing better.
Absolutely. Taylor, in the state playoff game, you come up, you hit a home run, I believe in the 6th inning. Tell me, you're stepping to the plate there. What are you feeling, and what are you looking for? Kind of try to take me back to that moment, stepping into the batter's box.
Yeah, so the Northern Lebanon pitcher, she was great. She really kept us off balance all game. My mindset going in was just to get the barrel on the ball and hit it hard someplace. And I knew that if I did that, someone behind me in the lineup would be able to move me. I wasn't trying to hit the ball over the fence, but I'm happy that it worked out that way.
Yeah, certainly. And Joby, if I may just ask like a follow-up question. So when, obviously you're very experienced, you're going to Division I Binghamton, but you're still in a pressure situation as a pitcher. You need to keep putting up clean innings, not giving up any runs. What is that pressure like for you, having to come up in such a big situation and, retire the side or at least keep up a clean inning?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every practice we really focus on the little things. We know as a team that if we take care of the little things, the big things will eventually take care of themselves. I know that if I continue to hit my spots, my defense has my back all day and we'll take care of everything else.
Taylor, this has been a great season for you at Valley View. And I have to ask because, we're looking now at the state playoffs. Several of our teams from District 2 / the Lackawanna League have had success in the state playoffs. And this season in particular, there are several teams still alive. How great of an advantage is that for you and your teammates to have such great softball competition here locally to prepare you for these big matchups?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, North Pocono's still alive. We played them. We took a tough loss to them. 1 run, I believe. We scrimmaged Mid Valley. They're still alive early on in the season. I mean, District 2 is just full of great athletes, great teams. So yeah, it's definitely beneficial to us.
Absolutely. And your next game is obviously tomorrow against North Schuylkill. It's the PIAA quarterfinals. At this point of the season, obviously, there's not much you could do, but, tell me about your preparation for them and what practice will be like today.
Yeah, so today I think we're gonna go live off of we have a freshman pitcher. She's gonna be really good in the upcoming years. So I think we're gonna try and hit live off of her. Our coaches do a great job of getting us ready for games. We try not to look ahead, just take it game by game. I mean, last night we were at the coach's house and me and the captains were watching film, just know what to expect and to know what pitches to throw to the girls. And yeah, so I feel like we really just take it game by game.
Taylor, at this time of the year when you're playing in the most important part of your season, there are several distractions for spring sports athletes, including your class night ceremony, your graduation that's coming up. And those are all great moments in your high school career. How do you keep yourself from being overwhelmed, knowing your classmates are kind of winding down and enjoying themselves at the tail end of their high school careers?
Yeah, I mean, Monday was my last day of high school and it was my last softball game on Valley View's field. So, I mean, that was cool. Thursday, we have a senior picnic that I can't go to. And then if we win Thursday, we have memories on a Monday. So I'll probably show up to memories in my uniform. But
Yeah.
I feel like a state championship's way better than all this. So
That's fair. That's fair. So obviously, like you said, you just had your last day of high school. High school is winding down. You end up choosing to go to Binghamton University. Just tell us a little bit about how you came to that decision.
yeah, so I chose Binghamton because they have great academics. I absolutely love the coaches, love the team culture. I really feel like the team and the coaches play for each other. I really like their schedule too. Like, for example, this year they played Florida and Duke, which, I mean, not many teams do. They also won their conference and they got the opportunity to play in the World Series at Oregon. So I'm really just excited to get on campus and try to do that all over again.
Joe, in keeping with our theme during our Athlete of the Week honoree interviews this year, Taylor may not know this, but we have kind of a little bit of a brotherhood connection because, Taylor, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't your dad a state trooper?
Yeah, he's retired now.
He's retired. So my father, who has since passed, but was a longtime state trooper. So we have that little bit of a connection there. So I'll be secretly rooting for you and your success at Valley View during the course of this remainder of the state playoffs.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Of course, Joby. I should have known, honestly.
I'm like the Kevin Bacon of sports writing.
6 degrees. Absolutely. Taylor, I actually do want to follow up. Obviously you've had kind of a tough high school career in softball when it comes to injuries. Obviously you missed all of last year. What was it like having to deal with injuries and, how happy are you now to, not only be in the situation you are now, but able to contribute in a big, big way to a great Valley View team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucked, but I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. I mean, it wasn't fun going through them, but I definitely feel like I'm a better athlete because of them. It allowed me to see different aspects of the game that a lot of kids don't get to see. Like I got the opportunity to sit next to Coach Justin and call pitches and just chart pitches. And I really just got to see like that side of the game. I also got to like break down my pitching mechanics, and I would sit on a bucket, I mean, with my leg up, and I would just do spins, and same thing with hitting. I would have my leg up on a bucket, break down my hitting mechanics. So I really feel like everything happens for a reason. And yeah.
Taylor, another little secret I know is that you have a huge following. A lot of Valley View fans. I work out at the Planet Fitness there in Pocono, and they are big supporters of yours. And they often talk about, boy, can Valley View get another monument? And for those who may not know, Valley View softball has already won a pair of state championships. So how much does that tradition play into the motivation and the drive, the support from the community you get to keep you guys motivated and going here in this quest for a state title?
I mean, yeah, the support's huge. It's so great, like after a game, scrolling on Facebook or Instagram and seeing all the comments. It really keeps our team going. It keeps us motivated to do it for the fans and everyone. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Just curious, Taylor, how did you're such a great softball player now, but take us back. How did you get started playing softball, and what made you fall in love with it?
So I have a lot of family members that played. My grandpa got drafted to the Houston Astros out of high school.
Oh, wow.
So he was a really big help. I started playing when I was 4, and I started pitching when I was 7. I played travel since like 10 years. So, yeah.
Well, you certainly had some great success. This is an exciting time of the year. Joe, I just want to congratulate her on what's been an incredible season and really the last couple of weeks. Just amazing at the plate and on the mound. Taylor, you've been very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's that's all. I think that's all we got for you, Taylor. Again, I just want to reiterate to Joby, I think it's been absolutely incredible what you've not only been able to do this season, but especially in these past 2 games, just coming up with big games in a district title, and coming up with the home run in a big pitching game in the first round of states. We're rooting for you here, Taylor, and good luck on Thursday, and hopefully down the road, like we were saying, don't put the cart before the horse, but yeah, good luck to you. All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks.
Good luck, Taylor.
Thank you. See you.
All right. That was Taylor Cawley, Times-Tribune Athlete of the Week, brought to you as always by the Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. Joby, it's not something we're just saying. Like I feel like I could talk about Taylor Cawley's performance this season for a while during this podcast. I mean, this is an athlete who, we've had plenty of athletes have to deal with, ACL tears, years off, stuff like that. But to come back from it and be performing at such a high level, on a great Valley View team, and have a real good opportunity to potentially win a state title. I mean, you can't say enough about Taylor, and how impressive she's been. Joby, I was very interested. I'm always very interested in what the athletes are doing when they're injured, and it was just interesting to hear her talk about. It's just like she was always working. She was, looking at things from a different perspective. She was coaching. She was seeing how the plays were called. She was working on, still trying to work on her hitting, sitting on a bucket, in her pitching, sitting on a bucket. I mean, it's just, it is great to hear these stories, and Taylor is just another one of our athletes to impress.
Joe, we have a lot of athletes that have to deal with this terrible ACL tear injuries. I suffered, as you know, an ACL tear back in the Stone Ages of 1988, which when they repaired it, they had like a chisel and a mallet. So my comeback was a little bit more challenging than what these young athletes have to endure now. However, I will tell you, without divulging any of the things that I did while rehabilitating, it's an extremely challenging injury to come back from, both mentally and physically. And I know these kids do give us some pretty good answers, and they do often come back pretty strong. But when I did my second ACL tear, Joe, which required a complete reconstruction of my knee so that I could simply walk again, you're kind of faced as an athlete with your mortality in that regard, that your career could end. And I think that's the hardest part for these young kids, is they really do, at many times as they're growing up, as I did when I was an athlete, feel invincible. And then you suffer this really devastating injury that could certainly set you back and is extremely difficult to come back from at full strength and be the player or athlete you were previously. I never recovered. I mean, you could just see me physically and mentally. I was no longer motivated to be the athlete I was before my injury, nor did I want to make that commitment any longer as I got older. So, yeah, you give these kids an awful lot of respect for what they've been able to accomplish. And certainly Taylor Cawley, who's not only done well on her high school level, but it led to her receiving a Division I scholarship to Binghamton. So great job by her.
Absolutely. And Joby, we've, to no surprise, obviously we've been talking about it all year, but you've got to play the games. But we now have 4 softball teams still alive in the state playoffs from the Lackawanna League. North Pocono in 5A, Valley View in 4A, which we have already mentioned, Mid Valley in 3A, and Holy Cross in 1A. We wanted them to play the games, Joby, but it's here now, and they're succeeding. Joby, if I may talk about, was able to get out to North Pocono to see that North Pocono softball team face Upper Moreland, and North Pocono really took care of business there. 9-3, pretty much controlled the entire game once they got their footing under them in the second inning. Riley Grambo, again, we've talked about it, but the freshman talent here at North Pocono, they've already been in these big situations with the Little League regionals a few years back, and now we're seeing them at this level. Riley Grambo comes up with a big 3-run homer that breaks a 2-2 tie, and Ariella Bell comes in relief of her sister Amelia and is able to shut down Upper Moreland. 4 2/3 shutout innings. You got Avery Rossioli. I definitely butchered her last name, so apologies, Avery. But she had 2 doubles and 2 RBIs, and of course, Alyssa Lynch just smashed a home run to left field, a 2-run homer. She went 2 for 4, and I'm if I remember correctly, her 2 other outs were I think one was an error, and her other out I think was like a line drive. So she is absolutely clobbering the ball right now, hitting I think 700-800 at this moment, and this is. I guess I don't want to say this because I don't have but I feel like North Pocono, coming in with all these freshmen, they're like a little bit ahead of schedule, and they're really already showing how great they're going to be for the next 4 years. What was I going to say? Joby, I'm hearing myself. No, we're good. So basically,
sorry about that, Joe.
Yeah, it's all right. It was a short echo. No, we're
Joe.
I
often hear myself, and that's not a good sign.
Exactly. So anyway, yeah, this is. I mean, this is a team, and I was, it's funny because we brought it up in Taylor Cawley's interview, but talking to Joe Maraglia after the game, they faced an Upper Moreland pitcher in this game who had Delaney Stout, who I believe had like 400 strikeouts already in her career. I think she's already a sophomore, and they They scored 9 runs. I mean, and talking to Joe Maraglia, he's just like, we face the talent that we face in the Lackawanna League prepares us for this moment. I mean, he was just like, we faced Taylor Cawley. We've faced Abby Call from Valley View. We've faced Lauren Stalika from Abington Heights. We faced Hannah Chapago from Lake Lehman. These are all Division I people. Cawley Binghamton, Call Clemson, St. Joe's for Stalika, and James Madison for Chapago. He's just like, we are prepared for whatever comes at us because of how strong this Lackawanna League. He said District 2 in general, but especially the Lackawanna League. And you see it right now. There's 4 teams alive in the quarterfinals, and these teams are just really, really incredible, Joby, and they're really showing it this postseason.
Yes, they are, Joe, and this comes as no surprise based on what we tracked her throughout the spring. And again, you mentioned the North Pocono Little League softball team that had such great success. If you go back and can remember, the Tunkhannock's Little League softball had great success on the national scene as well. So yeah, we're seeing a very high level of being played in Northeast Pennsylvania. We've of course seen, in Mid-Valley.
All right, Joby, we have lost you. So I'm going to kind of continue on with your point here.
State championship a couple of years ago. Certainly encouraging for the softball. These teams are going to be.
All right. So we've kind of lost Joby. Like I said, he is kind of traveling here. So, Joby, do we have you?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so if you can hear me, I'm gonna sign off here pretty quickly here, but I just want to continue my point, and that is that softball is outstanding here in our area, and I think they're going to do quite well moving forward. But also, Joe, I want to wish much luck to the 2 volleyball teams that are still in action. Holy Redeemer, which I saw last night with a victory in the PIAA Class 2A first round over Carver Engineering and Science, and then tonight, we're recording this on Wednesday, I'll be covering Abington Heights. So much luck to those 2 programs and our baseball teams that are still alive as well. All right?
Absolutely. All right.
All right. Can you carry the show the rest of the way, Joe?
I can absolutely carry the show, Joby. Hey, thanks.
I don't want to ruin the production by keep falling out of favor here with this traveling that I'm doing. But so just keep it up. You'll do a great job the rest of the way. It was a pleasure to talk to Taylor. And we'll be in touch real soon, my friend.
Yeah, our high-level production value here.
Yes.
Podcast.
Well, Joe, yeah. I don't want you to receive a low Rotten Tomatoes score.
That's
on this
true.
Episode.
I'd hate.
And that would only come with my lack of involvement to this point. So let's not ruin your outstanding oratory with my nonsense. So with the breaking up of the cell phone. So I will talk with you soon. All right.
All right. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm sorry about this, but I have to go.
You're all good. Thanks, Joby.
Thanks, pal. Bye.
All right. So we're going to ride solo the rest of the podcast. Like I was mentioning and like Joby was mentioning, just absolutely phenomenal softball in this area, and especially in the Lackawanna League. And we are absolutely seeing it right now. In the other PIAA first round games that the Lackawanna League did win, Holy Cross versus Tri-Valley. This was a big game, and Ava Schmidt comes up absolutely big, hits a walk-off homer to lead Holy Cross past Tri-Valley 3-2. She also pitched, allowing 1 run, striking out 7 in 7 innings. That walk-off homer was one of her 2 hits. So that's just a massive game for Ava Schmidt, who has had a ton of big, big games this season. That is just an excellent, excellent team, obviously, at Holy Cross. So they are going to have a big game coming up tomorrow. Obviously, all these games are Thursday. So they are going to face off against Clayburg Kimmel at Central Mountain High School. That's at 4:00 tomorrow. Again, we're recording this on Wednesday, Thursday. All these games are Thursday. Claysburg Kimmel is 26-0. So this is going to be a big, big game for Holy Cross. Obviously, it is the quarterfinals of states, so every game is a big game. But this should be very, very interesting. In Class 3A, Mid-Valley defeated Hughesville in the first round. Ava Hazelton tossed a 3-hitter, allowed a run, and struck out 12 to lead the way for the Spartanettes. She added a double and an RBI. Abby Mackey and Elise Larson each had 2 hits. In the Spartanettes scored 5 runs. I believe it was the 3rd inning, actually. Yes, 5 runs in the 3rd to open that game up, and Mid-Valley ends up winning 6-1. They will face Nazareth at Patriots Park in Allentown at 4:00. So we'll see what happens there. As I had already mentioned, Valley View will be playing at Wilkes against North Schuylkill. That game's at 2:00, and North Pocono will be playing Greencastle Antrim at Pine Grove at 4:00. So those are just some of the, I won't touch on the games that we lost in softball, but we also had a team. The Lackawanna League still has a team alive in Mid-Valley. They were able to beat Boiling Springs. I mean, one of my favorite nicknames, the Bubblers of Boiling Springs. But Mid-Valley is able to win that game to hold on. They come out and take a lead. I believe it was a 6-run lead in that game, and they're able to hold on for a 6-4 victory. Brett Yanowski had 3 hits and 2 RBIs. Nick Mills threw 6 strong innings to allow Mid-Valley to advance there. I'm sorry, they were up 5, and then Boiling Springs started to rally, scored 3 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th. Mid-Valley scored a run in the 6th. And I do want to touch on a couple great performances from Dylan Hernandez of Mid-Valley. He's had, not Dylan Hernandez, Lorenzo Hernandez. He's been absolutely great for Mid-Valley, and he came up with a big game against Crestwood in the district final. He had 12 strikeouts, scattered 4 hits, allowed no runs, walked 2 in 7 innings. Just a big, big game to help Mid-Valley capture the district title. He also added 2 hits and a run in that. That was against Boiling Springs. He added a hit and a run against Crestwood. So Mid-Valley still alive. They will be playing against Pope John Paul II at the Sales at 2:00 tomorrow. Other teams still alive in the Wyoming Valley Conference. MMI Prep will be playing Nativity BVM at North Schuylkill High School at 1:00, and Hazleton will be playing North Penn at the Sales at 5 p.m. That's a doubleheader with Mid-Valley at 2 and 5 at the Sales. So it should be a fun day tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but we've got super talent. Even if, I think we'll have some teams advance, but these teams have already had just phenomenal seasons with great performances. So we'll see what happens. I believe they win these games and they play Monday. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Also we had a really good start to the state lacrosse playoffs. We had Scranton Prep. The Scranton Prep boys beat Selinsgrove 10-3, and the Crestwood girls beat Lewisburg 21-4. The Crestwood boys did lose, but the game I want to focus on was the game that I actually covered. Abington Heights beat the District 3 runner-up Hershey 15-10 in the Class 2A first round yesterday. Sadie Gilbert had just a massive game, 6 goals. Allie Rothenberger also 6 goals. Just to talk a little bit about the game, Abington Heights came out and really, really controlled the pace in the first half. They played their game. They dictated the game. They did not allow Hershey to get into their game, and you could see it. I don't usually cover lacrosse, but you could plainly see that Abington was patient. They were looking for their shot. They were controlling the ball. They were definitely dominating the time of possession, and it really put Hershey on their heels. Allie Rothenberger scored 2 goals in the first quarter, so they lead 2-1 after a quarter, and that's when Sadie Gilbert just goes off. She scored 4 goals, and it's interesting because in a game where the final score is 15-10, you don't usually, your mind doesn't usually go to, wow, they played well defensively, but Abington Heights, except for just to talk quickly about Hannah Russell on Hershey, just an incredible player. She scored in the third quarter. She scored 4 goals in 50 seconds. It was just an incredible display. The score goes from 9-3 to 9-7. All of a sudden we have a game. So, but all that besides those 50 seconds where Russell scores 4 goals, the Abington Heights defense was very, very good, especially in that second quarter. There you've got to kind of keep it at 8-3 there in that second quarter, and they're absolutely able to do it. They're causing turnovers, making it difficult for Russell, who was really trying to get to the net and kind of go. The Abington Heights defense was going so well that she was kind of trying to go 1-on-5. It looked like at some point. So the defense was just absolutely excellent for Abington Heights again, albeit for that 50-second stretch. The Abington Heights goalie Sophia Sanasario, she ends up with 4 saves here. But like I said, in that second quarter, she stopped a point blank shot from Russell and another point blank shot late in that second quarter. One save kind of leads to a breakaway. Abington Heights is able to turn the save into points. And so Sanasario just, when she needed to make a big play, she made a big play. So going back to that third quarter, Russell scores the 4 straight goals. It's 9-7. And then, Sadie Gilbert once again steps up. She's able to score off an assist from, let's see, I lost my place here. She's able to score off an assist from Gigi Butala, and then she's able to score off a penalty shot to stretch the game back to 11-7. And then, Abington just takes off from there. They right the ship. They start controlling the pace again, and they end up taking it 15-10. So just, such a great game against a great team in Hershey. District 3 is excellent in lacrosse, and so this is just a big win for Abington Heights. I think it's their 4th ever state victory, I think they said after the game. Don't quote me on that, but this was just a nice win for them. They will be playing District 1 third placer Upper Moreland at Emmaus High School, at noon. That's kind of an interesting, it's interesting because it's actually a lacrosse triple header, which will involve each one of our teams that are still alive. And our colleague Sam Freeman will absolutely be there covering a game at 10 a.m., noon, and 2. So good luck, Sam. That's going to be a tough assignment, but he'll be at Emmaus High School for a 10 o'clock game. The 10 o'clock game is Scranton Prep boys against Marple Newton. And like I mentioned, Abington Heights will face Upper Moreland following that around noon. And then Crestwood will face Strathaven at 2 o'clock. Apologies. I guess this comes with doing this podcast by yourself. There's no chance for a water break. So basically, we've got a triple header on Saturday. That'll be fun. See how it goes. Follow Sam Freeman for all the action going on there. He tweets a lot during these games, so you'll be able to know everything that's happening. More information than I could tweet out. I'm usually really impressed with the amount of information that Sam's able to get out there. So usually in these lacrosse games, I'm tweeting out the last goal, and there's another goal in the process of happening. So Sam's got his work cut out for him, but he is more than up to the task. As Joby mentioned, the Holy Redeemer volleyball team swept their first round match. They will face York Suburban in the quarterfinals on Saturday. And also, Joby's going to be at volleyball, obviously, tonight, as he had mentioned. Abington Heights will be hosting Bethlehem Freedom. That's at 6 o'clock. Joby will have that story up on the web right after the game. We'll probably have some highlights as well. So definitely go to our website, thetimes-tribune.com/sports. He'll share it on his Facebook page, Joby Fawcett, the Times-Tribune. You can follow us on our sports page, Times-Tribune Sports, on Facebook and on Instagram. Sometimes we share some highlights there. So that, I think, covers the state playoffs that are of the teams that are still alive. Apologies if I missed anything, but I think I've hit on everything. And like I said, it'll be a big day of coverage. We will have each game covered. I'll be going out to Pine Grove, back following the North Pocono softball team. And, we'll have someone covering each game tomorrow. So definitely go to the website. We'll be sharing. We'll have them up on Thursday night, everything that happened during Thursday, to see which teams make the semifinal round of baseball and softball. And we'll do the same with lacrosse on Saturday and the volleyball as well. And we'll see if Abington Heights wins tonight in volleyball. But other than that, at least one thing that I wanted to mention is Nick Bradley, friend of the show, as I like to say, was named the Gatorade Player of the Year for baseball, which is, obviously it's an incredible honor. So congratulations to him. He's a hell of an athlete, clearly multi-sport athlete. He had a great, great season in baseball, and he's coming back next year. He's only a junior. So congratulations to him. That is a big, big honor. Other than that, we're starting to roll out our coaches all-star teams I know we just had the tennis. We're going to have track and field coming out, girls and boys. And yeah, so, follow along that. We're rolling that out in the paper. So pick up a copy, save it. It'll also be online. And I think that's about everything that's going on right now. We've got the continuation of Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Oilers, Panthers. The NBA finals start Thursday. Thunder, Pacers. So we got some good sports coming up, not just locally, but nationally. But be sure to follow along for all the local coverage you could possibly want as we wind down, not just the spring sports season, but the entire high school sports season. The summer is almost here. As you can tell, it's about 90 degrees outside. So yeah, that's all we've got for you on the podcast. Thanks for sticking with us. We're just tried to fit something in here, and we really thank Taylor Cawley for joining us in between state playoff games and before practice. And that was really, really, really great of her to kind of work with us. And thank you to Joby for, he's doing some running around and, joining the podcast. So we're, the athletes are busy. We're busy, but this is what it's all about. So good luck to all these teams at states. And hopefully next week we'll be talking about some teams headed to state title games and all that stuff, heading to Penn State. So we'll see what happens. But until then, thank you so much for listening. This is the Film Room Podcast. You get on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, and of course Podbean, where we do in fact record. That is the app that we use to record the podcast every week. So give us a follow. We will be back next week. I'm assuming maybe not Monday, because we probably will have, I'm assuming, some state semifinal games on Monday, but we'll see what happens. But until then, thanks for listening. Follow along, and we'll talk to you next week.